Welcome to today's podcast. This is EMO International, slightly different to our other shows because we have got my colleague here, Tom Skubala, who is our technical presenter.
Yes.
But we are also joined by Dr. Marcus Heering he's in Frankfurt in Germany. Good day, Dr. Marcus.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Now, I won't do you the disservice of trying to give an overview of what you do, but you're from the VDW and the VDMA. If you could just tell our listeners and viewers what that is, please.
VDW is the association where the manufacturers of machine tool technology are members. And in this case, we are the organizer of EMO. And we have a close connection to VDMA. And VDMA is the association of the manufacturers of technology and plants. So everything else, what is not machine tool, is organized there.
There you go. So I'm assuming, great to get you on board because I'm assuming things are getting quite busy because EMO is not far away, as you see from behind us, 18th to 23rd of September. So, and we will, of course, be there. And we're doing a load of podcasts in the run up to EMO 2023. Moving on swiftly, though, Dr. Marcus, I'm going to go to our next person is Tony Gunn. A lot of people already recognise him. And as I said, it's an international show. Tony, where are you?
I'm all over the U.S., currently in Chicago with all sorts of craziness going on. And I just want to say it's really exciting to get everyone around for this international podcast because you guys have been doing a phenomenal job in the UK of highlighting all the different technologies and getting people pumped and stoked for EMO coming up, as you mentioned, just a couple of weeks away, and it'll be here in a blink of an eye before we know it. So bringing over Germany to highlight some of what's going on there, and then I appreciate you guys bringing us in from the US as well. So thanks for that. Stoked about this podcast. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. And let's hope the technology works all the way through. So what we're going to do is crack on with this. So first of all, Dr. Marcus, EMO, yes, there is a clue behind me of where and when it is, but just if you give me a quick summary of what we can expect, how many exhibitors, anything like that, please.
As you can see on the slide, so it's from now on nearly 3 weeks. So it's starting at 18th of September up to 23rd of September in Hannover. We have around about 1,800 exhibitors right now. Still, we receive, that is funny, some applications day by day. We try to integrate them. And we will see everything around production technologies from all the manufacturers around the world. So the important suppliers are there and they will show their solutions. We said it before, we have 3 major topics. What you will see there, we call it the future insights. So we have seen that trade fair shows becoming more and more, I would say, a little bit like a stage where you can see what happened in the future. And therefore we name it Future Insights. The special topics for this time are the future of business. So we've seen that the business is changing. That means sometimes in the areas, so it's a geographic discussion. We see some markets are becoming more and more important. India is an example for that. It's a market what is coming more and more to the focus of suppliers. But also business is changing in the kind of business models. We see platform technology, digitalization. This offers new opportunities for creating businesses. We will have a look to that. Then we discuss about
is that part of what are the other topics you concentrate on, which is your connectivity?
Exactly. That is what I would like to mention as the next one.
Oh,
so
sorry,
the future of
I jumped in too
connectivity.
soon. I do apologize.
No problem. Is the next future insight, so that everything around digitalization, very close connected to the future of business, but also with the technical aspects. So we speak to machine communication, so industrial Internet of Things, Industry 4.0, as we name it here. This is the future topic of connectivity. And the third one, last but not least, I would say, is the future of sustainability in production, where we have a closer look to the topic of sustainability for all the production technologies.
The focus of today's podcast is sustainability, if I can say that. And I'm going to first go to Tony. If you can just give, what does that mean to you?
Well, sustainability is definitely a topic we discuss regularly. As you know, Colin, Tom, MTD, as a family, we're traveling the world, and I'm going to take one step back real quick just to highlight what Dr. Marcus was saying about the show itself. I've been to the Gym Toff and the Simtos. I've been over to India, Malaysia. Obviously, we have IMTS in the U.S. and EMO itself. Just to get people excited, is my favorite international trade show in the entire world. It's truly one of the few left where the whole world comes together in one place. So if you're in the US, if you're in another part of the world and you currently don't have plans to attend, but you're looking to grow your business, I highly advise taking a few moments of your time, booking a ticket for a few days, heading on over and taking a look. And as we segue from that into sustainability, which is so very important, and back to the point of MTD traveling the world, sustainability is whether I like it or not is highlighted more in certain parts of the world than other parts. And being fair, here in the US, we probably should focus on it more, but every time we make a piece of content about sustainability here in the US, we try to turn it into how sustainability can create profitability as well. Because while we don't have as much solar panels as other parts of the world, while we're not looking as eco-friendly and green, and although we did create the Tesla, I was just in Norway, and Norway owns more Teslas than the US in California by far. So sustainability in the US area needs to relate to profitability, and how do we communicate that more effectively. But also going back into what Dr. Marcus was talking about, was sustainability immediately connects to connectivity and business as well, because as we move forward, we are reducing the overall cost. We are reducing everything that goes into the business side of things by increasing the sustainability side of things. We recently did, and you may have seen this as well, Colin and Tom, we recently did a really great tour of Motorex, which is coolant and oil and that kind of thing. Their entire facility in Switzerland, because Switzerland is dedicated to sustainability, is also focused on the ability to keep things clean and moving forward. So that's my really quick bird's eye view on it. I'd love to pass it back over to you guys to get more of a European view as well. But here in the US, we're still working on doing better when it comes to sustainability. And I hope I haven't offended anyone in the US, but it's certainly what I've seen firsthand.
So in a nutshell, the US is failing miserably on sustainability, and you're going to get everybody going to
that's extreme.
But also you're going to get everyone going to EMO, and your carbon footprint is going to be dreadful, isn't it? But so we've straight away failed there. But Dr. Marcus, we're going to focus on that. So if you want to give me sort of talk us around what your thoughts are on this, in terms of energy efficiency, circular economy, and life cycle concepts.
Yeah, it's a very complex topic, sustainability, and as Tony mentioned before, it's the cost side is one aspect of that. What we see, if we have the European view, but it's also the global view, we see the environment is changing. Sustainability is a global topic. We see climate change, we see energy consumption as a topic. We see carbon footprint and CO2 emissions as a topic, what we're discussing. And beside these topics, what I mentioned, sustainability is a point where we have to have a look on. It's a topic what is mentioned by also the politicals or the politicians. We see that we have a European legislation what has a strong focus on green technology and on sustainability. We see that the public view on that is an important issue. So we have to have come back to your question. So we have to have a look on the energy consumption, because that is directly connected with CO2 emissions. We see that circular economy is becoming more and more important. So that means we have to close the circle for the used materials, that we come more to a reuse instead of a use of material. So that is what we understand if we talk about circular economy. And that includes both. That includes the machines and includes also the products what are produced and for which the machines are used. And last but not least, that means we have to have a look to the life cycle of the products and of the technology. And if we are able to close the loop of the life cycle, then we have circular economy.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is go to Tom, because I'm not saying that you Dr. Marcus and Tony aren't Tom-served engineers, but I think you've probably been most recently on the shop floor. What is it? How does it affect you guys on the shop? You're not obviously you're working with us now as a technical.
Yeah. Yeah, but sustainability it should be on the front of everybody's minds, and I don't think we've quite got there yet, because obviously when you think of sustainability in the manufacturing industry, but if you bring that right down to being in your shop, obviously sustainability is when you're ordering material and you order material too big, so you're wasting lots of material. Simple little things like that can really help your footprint. And I know Tony's already touched on this, but in the UK, we're getting quite good at the moment at solar panels. Quite a lot of companies now are, I don't want to say net zero, but nearly there, because they're using the solar panels to power all the machines, power the shop floor. Now, don't get me wrong, the UK doesn't have the best weather for solar panels, and I don't know why it's took off so well, but it has. But then there's other things as well. So, and obviously, Tony, you'll have done video after video on filter mist systems. So, reducing pollution from your coolant as well. So, coolant suppliers now are finding ways of, let's say, fixing the coolant where before. And Tony, you'll know this from when you were on the shop floor, when your coolant goes off, you emptied the whole tank, you filled it up again, and you were just wasting so much coolant. So coolant manufacturers are really starting to get on the boat now of finding a way of making coolant reusable.
Right, so recycling.
So recycling coolant is a big one. But then also, and I really want to keep it on machine manufacturers, because I know DMG Mori, they say now that every machine is CO2 neutral because of solar panels and wind farms. Which is great, and you can see that on DMG machines now, because they always have the little CO2 neutral badge. So it's great that people are starting to look at sustainability, because obviously, like you said, in your era, you just didn't care. But then
I've got a recycling bin. Don't be like that.
But then I think as well, sometimes companies need to have a bit of a boost and a bit of an incentive to get there, to get to net zero, so we get there quicker.
Yeah, Tom, I'd love to talk a little bit more about that, and thank you so much for bringing it up from the shop floor perspective. And you're right, like incentives really do help when you think of why would I implement solar panels. But I want to touch base on the two highlights you mentioned right away, which was the coolant and the filter systems, right? I was just in a shop, Tom, and this is really cool. Colin, you might find this fascinating, as well as Dr. Marcus. You may know about this as well. But I was in with Qualichem into a factory, and they were utilizing some coolant because they wanted to save, I think it was like 50% of the cost on the front end, right? But what they realized was the coolant that they were using was a little lesser quality, and it was actually more sticky and gummy. So the coolant was actually sticking to the material itself. So when parts were being removed, it was taking longer to clean. On top of that, the tool wear was getting worse, and the finish was getting worse. Along with that, the barrels, and we're talking, I know we're doing metrics in other parts of the world, but in the US, gallons, giant barrels of coolant. And they would go through it in a week's time because it was just so much being removed that was sticking to the material. So what they did was they switched to a coolant that worked for the process that they were working on, and they actually took that same barrel that was disappearing in a week, and it became 2 or 3 months of coolant. So they were instantly becoming more sustainable in that point. And also, I recently learned through the AeroX family, based in Canada, is there's a bunch of different versions and sizes of filtration systems. And the majority of people for a single machine need a certain unit, which looks quite small. But a lot of people get confused and go, well, if I have a bigger unit, then maybe I can do more filtration. And that's the remedial way to put it, but more filtration. But what's actually happening is they're pulling necessary coolant from the machine itself into the filtration system, which is losing the coolant before it's ready to be removed by sucking too much of it out. So if we all just take small pieces of our existing facility, and even if we don't currently have certain incentives to go full green, as Tom was talking about as well, to get to that zero. These small pieces will help the sustainability of our tool life, of our machine life, of our machine spindle life, and overall that coolant and filtration system is going to help with our breathing and the environment, which is going to attract more people to be a part of our machine shops anyway. You know, the
Absolutely.
dirty versus clean conversation as we're all going through that labor shortage. It really all comes into play together.
Okay, I'm gonna move on from there. I actually want to move on, but come back to what you said, Dr. Marcus, in terms of saving resources. You know, you've got a big billet turn up, you're machining out and doing all the removal. But additive manufacturing, that ties in with what you'll do, because you're going to an event over in Austin, Texas, I think. Is additive manufacturing part of that circular economy and making the engineering companies more efficient?
Depends. That is what I said before.
I was
it's a
looking
very
for a
complex.
yes there.
It's it's a very complex topic. So depends on the solution. So for using additive manufacturing in generally, you need a new approach in design. You have to think in functional units instead of just simple parts. Then it could make sense, but again, it depends from the part, it depends from the solution what you need. You will also have cases where the traditional manufacturing, it's the better one from the perspective of a technician, but also it's a better solution under the focus of sustainability. So it's what Tony mentioned also before. It's you need the complete view on that. So it's not just energy, it's not just materials, it's not just resources. It's the whole process, it's the whole chain, it's supplying, delivering the materials. So it's everything from the beginning to the end. So that is the life cycle part where you have to have the look on it, and then you have to find the best solution. And we started now with this view, with this aspect, but it will take some time that we really find all the best solutions what we need to do so.
Okay. With all this you mentioned, Dr. Marcus, you've actually got a stand at EMO 2023. Well, can we go there and see all of these ideas, these thoughts, and discuss this with people there?
Yeah, of course. We have a joint pavilion in hall number 16. It's the booth number will be F11. At the moment, we have 16 participants there. So research institutes from universities, but also some companies, what shows solutions, what they are able to offer just now for the industry. And all the interested people can go there, can visit them, and can start the discussions about sustainability and what the participants there offer as solutions.
Okay. Sorry, go on. Tom.
Sorry, can I just say, I think that's such a great idea that you've got a stand with customers on there who can give their own opinions and their own experiences, because let's be honest, we've all been there when you try and talk to somebody and get a new idea and they don't like it. If it's a brand new idea coming from a company, sometimes people will just be sat there going, "Oh, you're from a company, you're just trying to sell me something." But if you can go and hear a customer who's already been in their shoes, already had the problems and solved them, then a customer perspective is such a great idea. And I think that stand will be busy every day.
Okay, and another part of the sustainability thing is the sustainable energy systems that are in production, things like energy monitoring. So can you cover that off for us, Dr. Marcus, and then over to Dr. Tony? I just
I can be a doctor today, like Dr. Pepper, not like Dr. Marcus.
We'll
stick
with Dr. Marcus first. So
I don't think we need a Dr. Gunn.
Yeah. So just go back. So things like energy monitoring and your manufacturing execution systems, things like that. Just talk us through that and how that ties in with all of this.
Yeah, we had at the beginning, so the discussion that connectivity, digitalization, it's a close connection to sustainability. So all the sensors, all the data, what available on machines nowadays, they're offering solutions to be more efficient in process with the technologies. And that is what most of the manufacturers are right now doing. So they are able to use the machines depending from the current situation where they're running in the most efficient way. So that means if they go down, they really go down without using energy. And if they speed up, they do it in that way that they need less energy than in former times. So, and there you can receive a relevant reduction of electricity use with modern technologies instead of the former ones what we had.
Okay, so bring all that data, that monitoring together to make the whole machine shop more efficient.
And
So-
just to jump on that quickly. Sorry, Tony, I don't want to jump on your toes.
That's all right.
But
You can
obviously,
steal my thunder anytime, Tom. Go for it.
but obviously, we know the aim for manufacturing companies is to have a machine that's running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because when the machine's running, you're making money, and that's essentially what everybody wants to do. But not every shop can run like that. Some shops have a machine that'll run 1, 2, 3 hours a day. It'll then stand for 1, 2, 3 hours a day. And I know older machines, newer machines that now have a smart system, which we've been talking about, where if your machine is stood for 5 or 10 minutes, that machine will essentially go into standby mode and turn the hydraulic pumps off. It'll turn all the lights off to save energy. And I think that just goes again with the smart system, where people are always looking at trying to be more productive, make work quicker, but now some machine manufacturers are looking at the other side where when a machine isn't running, and that's got to be saving people so much money, and also energy efficient coolant pumps, because let's be honest, coolant pumps run all the time when your machine's running. You can't stop them. And then, sorry to steal your thunder, but the regenerative braking as well. So obviously, and I couldn't tell you what machine manufacturers do this. I know I'm 99% sure on a Brother machine. Tony, you might be able to jump in on this. But obviously, when the spindle is then slowing down, it works like a car. So as the spindle's slowing down, the energy it's making is then put back into the motors. And I think, yeah, it's all this, like Tony was saying again with Tesla, all this technology that Tesla have brought out is now finally filtering into the manufacturing industry.
Tom, I think, Tom, that's extremely clever to bring up. Appreciate you doing that for sure. Because when we think about and we brought up cars a couple of times, now we're sitting at a stoplight and our car automatically shuts off, right? And saves that energy. And I want to go into a lot of what Dr. Marcus was talking about as well, Tom, because I think what you just described is very valuable insight. Even if we all want to run autonomously through the night, 7 days a week, it's just not possible sometimes. And the desire is there, of course, and the technology is certainly around us to allow us to create things like that. So I think what you're describing is powerful. And also to go back to what Dr. Marcus is talking about, I instantly think of machine monitoring companies like a Datanomics or a Factory Wiz. I think of ERP systems like a ProShop. I think of companies like a Karen Engineering with TMAC, which will automatically override my feeds and speeds based on how much energy is being used and the vibration in the tool. Where actually there was a tribal knowledge or a theoretical understanding of what our machine shops were doing for so long, but these programs are coming together to help us truly monitor a machine shop to say, okay, where is my downtime? Where is my uptime? Where am I putting a lot of my energy into, and where am I wasting a lot of my energy? So we're able to focus on every individual machine and then truly amplify what their capabilities are, and if they do need to shut down, to automatically shut them down over time. And all of these companies come together to help do that. And then on top of that, companies like a DMG Mori, I've seen, partnered with Heimer actually, seen a completely running autonomous cell with no humans involved between 3 machines, a couple of robots moving around with the wheels on the bottom. I'm having a slip of mind of what that's actually called, where they're transferring the tools from the measuring system, yes, into the machines themselves, and there's no human involvement. So there's truly a combination of how grandiose we can be when it comes to designing our machine shops, but we also can start at the easiest levels where we were back at before, talking about coolants, filtrations, and making sure that our machines shut down when they're not in use. all of it comes together to create that full sustainable production. And that is, in my opinion, the summary of the future of business, is to bring that connectivity and that sustainability together as well. Dr. Marcus, I'm sure, knows far more and can elaborate on that full future of business, but I see that in so many places around the world. It's incredibly important to pay attention to.
So it's not just people thinking, oh, we've got to get some solar panels. It's the whole package. It really is bringing it all together. One thing I want to cover off as well.
Just one point what I would like to add. So this is the direct link between the cost side, so the economic aspect of sustainability, and the ecological part. So that means really being able to solve resources, to avoid to use energy for that on one side, and on the other side, you are able to avoid additional costs or to produce parts cheaper at the end of the day. And this is a new mindset. This is a new part of business, how business can be done. And that is the reason why I believe this discussion about sustainability will have a huge impact, and at the end will be very successful for everybody, and not just here in Europe, also around the world.
It's an absolute essential. And one thing I understand, because we mentioned your stand, but you've got a research and initiative area. Is that part of your stand, or is that somewhere else? And they're going to be talking through energy efficient networks and ways to measure, the capturing of data. Is that all part of that stand, or is that something else?
Now, this is part of that stand. So what I said before, where you see most of the research institutes, and also others what are showing their solutions. You will find it at the joint pavilion in hall number 16.
Excellent. Okay. Now, sorry. Go on,
so,
Tom.
Dr. Marcus, can I just ask you one question? Say somebody's visiting EMO for the first time, who doesn't really know much about sustainability. Can they come to your stand and have a discussion with you to find out how they can be and how they can become more sustainable?
Of course, they can go to the joint pavilion. They can discuss there. So with the participants there, you will find a huge overview. What I said before, 16 different organizations will show their ideas. And the other way is, of course, we have a forum where we have several discussions about the efficient way of production and about sustainability, and you can go there and have can take the first ideas, and then you can go to again the joint pavilion or to the individual exhibitors and discuss the topics with them.
So with those forums, because that's being hosted by Dr. Martin Fulstick, and excuse my pronunciation, is that correct?
It's perfect, yeah. So
Excellent.
He will be the moderator of some of the forums what we open, or what we offer, yeah.
So you're going to expect things like the climate neutral factory and resource efficient factory as part of those forums. Now, I presume you can find details of all those on the EMO 2023 website.
Yeah.
Okay.
You will receive on the website, and we are still plan some of this. It's not completely fixed, but we will announce it as soon as it's fixed and it's done. Yeah.
Excellent. Now I'm aware that time is running on, so I'm going to sort of bring it to a close now. Is there anything, Tom, anything else you want to add?
Not really. Just to reiterate, just one little point Tony said about how people can now, they call it predictive analytics. So they can predict machine downtimes. They can predict machine cleanouts, that sort of thing. So they can do it when they're quiet on work, let's say, instead of breaking a big production. And some of the software coming out now for sustainability is just incredible, and I can't wait to see what the future for manufacturing with sustainability holds.
Excellent. Tony, over to you. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, a couple final thoughts, and I appreciate it, Colin. Well done moderating this whole thing. Dr. Marcus, I just want to thank you for joining us on this podcast. Your insight is second to none. We appreciate you. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you in Austin, Texas, but please give my best to Bonnie and MC, great people over at IMTS Plus. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And for everyone who's watching/listening to this podcast, get your booties over to EMO. It's going to be a fantastic show. Some of the best technology on the planet, if not all the technology. Everyone represents themselves there. It's a fantastic event. And if you see the CNC team running around, take some pictures, ask us what we're up to, see how we're recording all of these filmings on all these booths to bring this latest and greatest technology to you for those of you who can't make the show. But if you can, by all means, do that. And one more time, Dr. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us. Colin, Tom, you're both an absolute pleasure as well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for that, Tony. And I think that's the nicest invite we've ever had. Was that get your booties over there? Okay.
Get your booties over there.
Okay, no problem. And it's not just one team from MT. We've got 5 film teams over there. So you will see us out and about, and come and say hello and get a photo and get on the social media. Dr. Marcus, just to wrap it up for us, please, in an efficient and data monitoring way, so we're nice and sustainable.
I try to make it as sustainable as possible. So first of all, it was a pleasure to be here with you. I joined it and I liked it really very much. I hope to see all of you and also all the visitors and guests at EMO. It would be a pleasure to host you there and to talk with you about sustainability. And I believe it's a necessary step to do for the industry, or for all industries. It's not just the production technology, for all industries. And I believe we are on the right way with all the discussions and solutions for sustainability. And again, hope to see all of you again at EMO in live.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to throw that out. So you said it's something we should be doing. It is an absolutely essential that should be done. And some of the information we've had, you can make savings of 45%. So it's not just about doing the right thing for the environment, things like that. You can actually improve your profitability as well
and save money.
There you go. Absolutely. So it is essential to be sustainable. Hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Dr. Marcus. Thank you, Tom, for joining us. And this is the first in the series. We look forward to seeing you all at EMO 2023. Just to reiterate, Hannover, 18th to 23rd of September.
From the 18th to the 23rd of September, MTD will be at EMO 2023 in Hannover. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch, get ready, and get excited about EMO.